Hello, everybody. This is Trina Gunzel, and welcome to another episode of the Legacy and Legends podcast. I am so excited today to have my guest Piper Harlow with you. We're going to have a lot of fun getting to know her and her story. And Piper, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Piper has a really amazing story, and I know a lot of people get really curious when they meet actresses or actors or authors or celebrities, and they want to know some things that they can make connections with you. So really easy, just to start off. Piper, do you have a favorite movie?
I have tons of favorite movies. Are we talking
the
current
actress?
Or old?
Any genre. People are always looking for new things to watch, and it's a fun connection.
You know what? Pride and Prejudice, the Keira Knightley one, that is always in my Amazon Prime. I watch that all the time. In the movie Brooklyn. I just found it. It's called Brittany Runs a Marathon. And it's a super inspiring movie about a girl who, she's a little overweight. She's kind of down on her luck in life. And she starts training to run a marathon, and like her entire life changes. And it's kind of like that. Remember that movie Baby Boom? I always talk to you about that. When I was a kid, that was my favorite movie. Like I was going to be Diane Keaton. I was going to be the Tiger Lady and, have my own business and marketing and, kind of did happen. But those are the movies that inspired me.
I love that. And see, people are always looking to be inspired. That's why they hop on the Legacy and Legends podcast. So that's great. What is your favorite food?
Oh, Mexican food.
Mexican food?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but not spicy.
Awesome. Hey, that's cool. We get all sorts of different recipes and stuff on this and sharing in our community too. So everyone has to eat, right? That's one of the best connecting questions is like, what is the best meal you've ever had in your life? And people have these ratatouille moments that are just... Well,
you know what? I actually just had Persian food for the first time.
Did you?
Up in Toronto. Yeah, a friend of mine is Persian, and we went to this restaurant, and that was absolutely amazing. It was flavors that I've never tasted before.
Oh my gosh, that literally makes me want to cry because I shared with you my son is serving in the Persian-speaking mission in Washington, D.C.
Right. That's right. So,
like, he's learning Farsi. It's so incredible. But yeah, a whole new world of flavors.
Yes, they put a lot of love into their food. I'm going to tell you that.
I love that so much. Yeah, that is not a food I've cooked. So I'm excited to learn because that is different. Probably really fresh, a lot of spices.
Yep. Oh, so sorry. I was waiting for that to happen at some point. Sorry, guys. I'm doing this for my cell phone.
We're just turning it up. She's just going with it. We're rolling with it. That's right. I love it. And what is a book that has impacted your life?
I think it was 3 years ago it came out. It was Busy Phillips' book, which is called This Will Only Hurt a Little Bit. And it talks about her entire life. So she's dealt with everything from, being bullied, about the way she looked, getting started in the entertainment business, getting raped, getting pregnant at a very early age and having to deal with that, to, just her career and even ideas for movies that she had that people stole. And it's incredible how she just keeps going and going and going. And, when times get tough, like, she goes through the emotions of it and then she just keeps rising above. So I love that book.
That's amazing. That so many people too. It's like that journey. I would think not even just as an entrepreneur, but in life, it's like there are always these roller coasters. And you're gonna be super up, and then it's like something happens, and then it's like you keep doing it, endure through that, and overcome and learn. Then it's like then you can teach it to someone else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great book for sure. I definitely recommend that.
We added that to the list. I love it when you guys give me things new to read too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then what about Piper? What has been your work and educational history journey to this point?
My background is really in marketing and advertising, public relations. I have a huge background in sales. And I was a communications major in college and a musical theater minor because my parents would not let me go to school for dance, which is what I wanted to do. And I'm actually currently getting my MBA with a concentration in entrepreneurship and family enterprise.
Very cool. That's awesome. Well, no wonder it makes sense then with all the publicity and marketing and promotional things that you do, like that is your background. So you're just excelling and you help other people with that too,
Exactly.
right?
You know, I felt like, I mean, listen, you know, I've been the VP of marketing companies in the past. I've had my own business for 13 years, but I always felt like there was something missing. And
Mm,
you don't even know what that is until you're taking these classes. And especially that I'm doing more um, as a subject matter expert, I really just wanted that credibility and credentials behind me.
that's awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love seeing women entrepreneurs rocking it, just
Yes,
expanding. There's always more to learn, right?
so much.
So what inspired you to do what you're doing now?
The acting part or the public relations part?
You kind of have both going on there. So
Yeah.
either one, if you
Acting
want to
is
talk
just,
about.
I was just born that way. I've been singing, dancing, and acting since I was like 2 years old. It's just what I love to
I
do.
love it.
Writing, you know, writing shows, writing plays. I used to write like, you know, little one act plays for the neighborhood kids, and we would have costumes. We would do it in my garage. I would have
I love
popcorn
it.
and we'd sell
Me
tickets, and
too.
yeah, all those things.
I love it.
And then business is just something that I just really happen to be good at, and I love it. I'm a natural talker, right? I'm from Jersey, talking with
Yeah.
my a natural networker, and you know, just a natural salesperson. So business, marketing, advertising, to me, it's all connected. It's all entertainment.
Yes.
It's all what I love. But starting my own business actually happened out of necessity, because back in 2008, I left the Home News Tribune. So I worked for Gannett for
Hmm.
5 years. And I also, after that, worked for the Star Ledger, which is like the two biggest
Yeah.
newspapers in New Jersey. But in 2008, I actually started my own real estate and home improvement magazine, which was
Hmm.
the first full color bulk job publication in my county,
Oh,
which was
cool.
great until November hit. And that's when the stock market crashed and everything went down. And so I started interviewing for jobs again in marketing, because I used to do that even though my title was technically account executive.
Hmm.
All of the marketing and events and special sections that we did, I was in charge of all of that. So that's what I love to do. But what was happening was that I could not get a job now because they were kind of combining positions,
Oh,
specifically graphic design. So if you wanted a job now in marketing, you also had to know how to do all the graphic design work. Whereas just a few months prior, I would sit next to the graphic designer and tell them where I
right.
wanted things.
Okay.
So I was introduced to a recruiter, and I told her what I was looking to do, told her my story, and she said, "Can I take you out to lunch?" I'm like, "Okay, that's weird, but sure, why not?" So we went out to lunch, and she said to me, "You know, I have this book. It's called Absolutely Abby's 101 Job Search Secrets. My goal is to live in an RV with my husband, travel around the country, and help 1 million job seekers find jobs. Will you take me on as your first client?" And that's how I started my business.
Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. There's like so many. I do this every time there's like a sparkle moment of like things we have in common or just, and I'm just like,
Like our outfits, because
yeah, you know,
you know, so here's the other thing. And I mean, people who know me, they know this about me. I like to be comfortable. Like I will dress up from here down, but from here it's like sweatpants. And me and you are actually wearing, like, I have on red shorts right now, and you have the red top, so we have that connection
I love that.
today.
Yes, we do. Well, and even that your first client was that with the RV. Like we toured with our family with our RV for 3 years full time.
And she did it. She did it. We put on, the first thing we did was a national total career makeover contest, where
Oh,
we had people
mhm.
put in submissions about, you know, why they were
Yeah,
looking for jobs, how long, what was happening. We picked I can't remember if it was 10 men and 10 women or 5 and 5.
yeah,
And then there was a voting process that happened, and we did the reveal in New York. It was actually at Trump Plaza, and we had a friend of mine work for PVH Corp, which is like, you know, Hugo Boss and Calvin Klein. So they
yeah.
donated all of these clothes to the winners. The person who is actually now my dentist, he reached out to me and he said, "Listen, I want to volunteer my services to your two winners and just fix their teeth, because when
Oh,
you're going for a job interview, your
sure.
smile is very important," right? And it is true. Like, this is
Yeah,
image. If
yeah.
you could have the same qualifications as somebody else, but if you're sitting there and you have this perfect smile, you're going to get hired. It's
Yeah.
just, it's kind of an unwritten rule. And so this is just how it all started.
That's amazing. I love it too. And I love the stories behind it because these little things like you just try it plays in your neighborhood. I did the
Yeah.
same
Oh,
thing.
and
Like,
we had the cast of Jersey Licious do their hair because they're
oh my
local to the
God.
area here. And it turned out that this girl actually knew somebody who was on the show. And so we had we had a lot of the cast members on there.
That connection piece is huge. There's so many people they don't get that. And to me, it's like I value every relationship and I keep in
Right.
touch with them. And like you can always be referring somebody, or like if you let someone else know about a project you have coming up and they can share it for you, you're tapping into a whole new group of thousands of people that maybe you wouldn't reach otherwise.
Absolutely.
That's exciting. So, what kind of obstacles have you had to overcome to live your dream life now? Like, it seems like you have a lot of really cool things going on. I know we all go through ups and downs, but what kind of obstacles can you look back and be like, man, this was a hurdle I had to overcome to get here now?
So my biggest one would be 9/11. I
Mm,
was working my dream job, which was at a talent agency in New York. And I was fresh out of college, and then 9/11
mm,
happened. And about a month after that, I started having severe panic attacks and all these like digestion issues, and nobody really knew what was going on.
yeah.
Now, all this time later, we kind of know it was from all the barium that was in the air and what have you. But
Mhm,
they just put me on a lot of different medications, which I'm
mm,
absolutely against because none of them ever worked for me. But
yeah.
nobody knew what to do back then. So I was constantly sick. I was sick from the medications. I was sick from the other stuff. And I kind of lived like a hermit for
Mm,
quite a few years because I just never knew when I was going to be sick. And
sure.
so I feel like there was a big chunk of time of my life that was wasted.
Mm,
Um, and, to this day, I still deal with anxiety all the time. I mean, it's nowhere near what it used to be. I couldn't go into restaurants, I couldn't go into stores, supermarkets, like nothing for a
yeah.
long time. And I did a lot of self therapy, and I even tried like hypnotherapy, all these things. And um, my dogs that I have two little rescue Pomeranians. They're actually ESA dogs, so it's
Mm,
something I talk about freely
yeah.
because I want to help other people understand that anxiety happens. It happens for a reason. You don't always need to be on medication for it.
Hmm.
And even in business, I talk a lot about overcoming anxiety in business because it can be scary for a lot of people.
It
I
is.
think because I come from the stage,
Mm,
it almost sounds arrogant when I hear myself say it, but I don't have a problem speaking in public. I don't have a problem, talking to strangers. Um, but a lot of people do have that, and so they have these great ideas for businesses, but they hold themselves back because of that
mhm.
internal fear and anxiety. So I love to help people just find ways to come out of that and excel in their business.
That's cool. And I bet that's neat with like the stage background. It's actually pretty cool. There's a process I do with people that like one of my clients, she literally has multi-million-dollar corporation and franchise
Mm-hmm.
and she had a fear of flying. Like she flew for
I haven't
years and
flown
then
in 20
something
years.
happened. Okay, so that's what hers, it was 10. And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, if you can help me with this, it would open doors because I need to be able to go to these events. I need to be able to go,
That's how I
visit
am. I
these.
drove to Toronto.
Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
not flown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So hers, we literally spent an hour and it was so cool because she sent me all the pictures. She's flying again. And it was
that's
literally like
amazing.
helping prepare her tool bag, getting her empowered again, knowing what she could have done in this situation. And now
Yeah.
she's like, it was kind of scary, but she did it. And she sent me this cool testimonial. So that would be a fun thing if you ever want to look at, just because there are ways to go, okay, what can we do to shift that? And I think your idea from the stage, a lot of people have stage fright or they're afraid to be speakers and can't get up in front of people. They don't have the gift of conversation and communication. Like we love to talk to people. So that would be neat too to weave into
Yes.
your program, you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Claustrophobia is my issue now, and never used to be. I could
Oh,
be on the middle of the dance floor in the nightclub, and then, so that is, it's not even so much being in the plane; it's all the people on the plane. So
uh-huh.
maybe we could
Like,
find
can I get
somebody who has a
a
private
private
jet.
jet? That's what I was just saying. That's right. Upgrade, baby. We're gonna find the upgrade. We'll give
Or like
Grant
the small
Cardone a
airport,
call. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
There you go. All right. So, what would you say, Piper, has been your key to expanding your reach and connecting with influential leaders?
Just networking.
Hmm.
Networking, reaching out, but you have to do it in the proper way, right? Like you can't be annoying. You have to have a polite and persistent way of doing things.
I agree. Yeah. And I think something to offer too, like for me, honestly, a lot of people I want to talk to, having them on my podcast has been really great because I'm doing
Yeah.
something for them. It's all about serving them. And it's like, of course, they want their products or, platform or movie or whatever shown. So,
Right.
finding ends like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. And that's your whole thing, right? For PR, like when you're finding someone, do you think about like who you would like to work with and promote
Yes.
specifically? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
That was a very hard thing for me. And actually, I think that was one of the things we talked about with your course, right?
Yeah.
Like, who is your ideal client?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of people that come to me, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I really have to feel that connection with you. You have to be in a certain place. And it's okay if you're just starting out, but if you don't have A, B, and C done, I can't help you with X, Y, and Z.
That's right. And isn't that an empowering thing though, too? Because like in Stories to Success, when you went and it was like, ooh, I get to say yes to the ones I want to work with. And you get to say no. If there's people that aren't a good fit, you don't want monster clients. It's not fun.
Monster clients. That's a good way to put it.
I have 0 monster clients because I get to choose the ones I love to work with.
I fired a client once, like it was that bad. Yeah.
And it takes guts to do that, but you probably felt better off after, right? When you like cut that cord.
It did. I mean, it was, I literally had to do it to just even for my own reputation, because reputation in my industry is number one. And this person was just out of control. And, I talked to some other publicists, like just to get their input, and everybody agreed on the same thing. Like I just have to let this person go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's amazing, right? Health clears up. Suddenly it's like
so true,
right?
Yeah. Yes. Your energy levels are back. It's because they become like energy vampires.
They do, and you can tell when you're aligned because like you show up matching. It's a different vibe for sure.
Yes.
I so love talking to you. I missed you, girl.
Oh, same here.
How about Piper? What message are you wanting to share through your work?
That's a great question. Just to be fearless, to be your authentic self, and just go for it, right? Like we only live life once, and we all have setbacks. Like I just mentioned some of mine, and we all have fears. We all have, I think, imposter syndrome. That was part of it too. Even with myself. So, coming out as a subject matter expert, I'm like, who am I really? Like, do I know this? And, I do. And the Stories to Success kind of helped me. I don't even want to say kind of helped me realize that, because you do doubt yourself. You could be the smartest person ever, but you're like, well, this person knows more than me. Well, that's great. Somebody's always going to know more than you.
Yeah.
You just have to know more than the person you're helping.
That's right. And the people that you're meant to serve, I always love to tell people, it's like you could all be teaching exactly the same thing and it wouldn't be the same at all, because your style, your personality, what you're going to bring to it, your life stories and experiences. And so all of those things you grew up doing, of course you are, that's your zone of genius. It's like, but I see so many people and I call my miserable millionaires because they literally get into something because someone else told them to, because they make money, but it wasn't their purpose. It wasn't their passion, and it didn't honor their skills and talents. Like you light up different when you're doing what you love.
100%. Absolutely.
I so love it. And so just to kind of help, because you do amazing things with your business and I want people to know about you. I love spotlighting incredible people doing awesome things. What can people expect when they work with you?
They can expect honesty. They can expect a warm place. And I say warm, warm and kind, because image consulting is a lot of what I do, whether it's for you personally or for your brand. Because a lot of people, let me take it back. Like when it comes to an individual, a lot of people are not who they are on the outside that they are on the inside, because they don't know how to get it out, and they don't know, they're scared of being judged to be their authentic self. And I tell people, nobody ever, people don't love normal. People aren't inspired by normal. Like you have to be your true authentic self. Stop trying to blend. Nobody wants to blend. And in doing that, I go through a lot of deep diving, and it's a lot of emotional triggers that can happen, and maybe even past traumas that come out. And so I always let my clients know that I'm here for them, because things are going to come out and emotions are going to happen, and once we acknowledge them and we work through them, all of a sudden it's like you're just shining, and being your authentic self is not scary, and it's just a part of who you are every day now, and people flock to that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because that's the, I don't want to say like attractive character, but it's the ones that stand out. It's like it shouldn't be that it shows up different because they're being themselves, but it does.
Right,
It's like I meet
right.
people and they're like, "You're the same online as you are in person." I'm like, "Yeah, bring it in. I'll give you a hug. I'm gonna make you some food." Like,
I did an entire makeover for somebody that we had recorded, and she was very always hiding, right? Like big sweaters, her hair is in a ponytail, like a long ponytail. She didn't wear any makeup, which is fine. But just very, as plain Jane could be. She wanted to hide with the bushes and just not be seen. And we sat down and we talked about it. And there was actually something that happened after her father died. And she just felt like she, had to take a back seat. And she wanted to, I remember I asked her, like, well, what would you want to wear? And she wanted to wear like a black jumpsuit, like a business jumpsuit, but she didn't think she had the body shape for it. And then she showed me this haircut, and she said, I've wanted this haircut for about 30 years. And she just never thought that she could pull it off. And I said, okay, let's go. And we went shopping. Ironically, we were going to do it, a whole segment in a thrift store about how to do it on a budget.
Yeah.
But we happened to be eating Mexican food.
I love
and
it.
across the street was Banana Republic. And so let's just go in there and see what they have. I'm not even kidding you. We walk in, the first thing you see is the black sleeveless jumpsuit on the mannequin. I'm like, no way. And she's like, I can't wear it. I said, just try it on. So she tries it on, and when she saw that she could wear it, right? Like we put a little belt. Her whole, everything changed. So it gets even better, right? Because she didn't have a large budget. Yeah. So budget was a concern. We get to the counter. Not only was it a 50% off sale, but because she was a teacher, she was actually a retired teacher. Yeah. They had an extra 10% off. So she got this whole entire outfit for about $40. That would have cost, over $100. And so it was just a whole thing. And then, we did her makeover. I had a makeup artist come in. We had a hairstylist come in. They chopped it off. And when you see her, the glow on her face, like you couldn't keep it down. She was busting out of the windows and the roof. And she was just so happy because she was finally able to know that it was okay to be her authentic self. And so that's what I love to bring out in people.
I love that so much. I'm going to have to brainstorm that more, because with our program, it's like we help them open up, own their story. They have their consulting or coaching business or whatever, because we teach 14 streams of income. But then it's like when they're ready to launch, it would be super fun to do like collaboration on that, where it's like, okay, now that you're ready. You've done that obviously within our program. I think you had some of your first clients within that new program, where it was like, here's your image, right? When you get ready to launch, like how they want to project themselves, how they want to be received, right? I love that. So cool.
And also the brand of your product. I do a lot of that as well with, helping you design what it should look like, what your logo should look like, what your website should look like. Because a lot of times you think, oh, I have to do it this way. You have to do it the way you feel inside, because people are buying you. At the end of the day, they're buying you.
That's cool. So branding, logo, all those things you do for product or theirs, like graphics. Okay.
All under the image consulting umbrella. Yep.
I love that. You guys, you have to work with Piper. She's amazing. Like, I'm so excited right now because my head's like spinning with the virtual event. Like you saw, we do a virtual event each fall, but in the spring is when we like to do our in-person retreat. And I think it would be really fun to have you come out as the image consultant for these women. And I was debating like have a photographer, and just to have them own their brand, and we'll do coaching on that before they actually are on TV. Oh, is that when you're
this one's Fizz? Yes, he's my rescue from Georgia.
Oh, cute.
He wanted to say hello. Apparently,
he's like, I want to be famous too. I think
he's always in my videos. Actually, you know what? Today on Facebook popped up a story from 2015
It's
when
cute.
he was in the Sports Illustrated. He was all over the news. He was in the Huffington Post with his rescue group for when the Mets were in the World Series.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
so he's
we
a
have a
little
famous
famous.
dog here today. Hello. He's like, I belong on this podcast. Okay, I'm a legend in my own town.
He's a very big extrovert, this guy.
That's special. That's really cool that he was drawn in. I love that he was all excited. Okay, so is he part of, maybe he's part of this question. How do you get your favorite jobs and interviews then? Do you lead with the dog?
How do I get them? They just happen. They really just do. Like I had mentioned, I was in Toronto. I was helping my friend out with a fashion event in Toronto about 2 weeks ago. And we wound up having dinner with the owners of a magazine that she was on the cover of.
Yeah.
And, just in talking, he said, "Oh, you're American." I said, "Yeah, whereabouts?" I said, "New Jersey, but, close to New York." And they want to launch in New Jersey. I'm sorry, they want to launch like in the United States,
Yeah.
but particularly in New York. And then he found out that I'm an actress, and he's like, "Will you be on the cover of my first edition?" I'm like, "Okay." So,
there you go.
How those things happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it helps too. Like I was saying before we even started recording, like I'm going to connect you with another actor in New York that has been on Broadway, and just to like those connections. I love hearing what people are passionate about. And then we always know somebody we can connect with, right?
100%. And I'm so sorry if you hear the other one barking in the background. Somebody is blowing leaves right now. So if you hear a little yapping, guys, I'm sorry.
This is part of the authentic real,
this
right?
Is it.
Like,
listen, let's just be open, honest, and real. This is it.
I literally am on a 60-acre farm, so sometimes it's rare, but you could hear a chicken, you could hear the dog or a cow.
I can just imagine like something walking by.
Yeah, I wish people would love that. The ones I've done outside, where I've done like one by the hay bales, people love it because they just don't get to see that often,
Yeah, for sure.
All right. How about, what would you recommend to people who are wanting to gain traction in their social media networks and grow their audience? Since you're such a big, like with the PR and media promotions, a lot of people wonder that.
So right now, Instagram, for example, doesn't like static images. They want reels. They want motion happening in your videos. So that would be number one. But it's also a misconception that you need a large following to gain sponsorships. In fact, what we really look for is engagement. So I would rather you have a tiny following with a huge engagement than a big following with no engagement. So that's what we value.
I love that. That's cool. And I agree. I mean, you can tell the difference. And I have some clients when I go in, why didn't you just start from scratch? Like an authentic audience that actually interacts with you. Yeah.
Right. I know in 2 seconds if somebody bought all their followers. Like,
it's obvious.
It doesn't help you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's good. Good to know. And even people were saying, like, sometimes I'll do one of my most popular ones is when I do a live and drive, which I don't even know that my husband knows I do that, but it's one of those business coaching where I'll either have my daughter hold the phone or I do, but you can talk while you're driving, and it's just one time where it's like, here's a topic you want to talk about, or walking is fun.
Yeah, it's motion happening in your videos. And so yes, videos are motion, but sitting still like this is very different than, like you said, when you're walking and talking. People are drawn to that and they're going to stop.
Exactly. So my friends are like, what is that for? And I'm like, well, did it make you pay attention? Okay. Who's at the retreat? But they're like, what's the sparkle? I just wiped the sparkle. I'm like, I know.
Always attracted to sparkly objects.
That's right. We love sparkle. All right. So, Piper, if someone wanted to do what you do, what skills or training would they need?
You definitely want to have some type of background in journalism, marketing, PR. I mean, it's kind of obvious. I hate to say like PR, but you can major in that. Mine was in communication. So I studied a lot of journalism, a lot of writing. You need to know how to pitch the media, which is something I teach about. And the journalism part, working in advertising at a newspaper where I was in the same building as all of these different journalists, I really had an opportunity before I even knew that PR was what I wanted to do. But just to pick their brains and talk to them about the pieces that they're writing, because we would often have advertisers who wanted press releases or they wanted
Mhm.
interviews. And there's a very fine line. Like, journalists can't do that. I can't go to them and say, oh, hey, my advertiser who advertises wants you to write an article. It's
Right.
unethical to do. And so I would have these conversations because I also had to give feedback to my paying clients why I couldn't do this. So I learned a lot from them.
That is awesome. Well, and that's the thing why, you're an expert in that. Like just hearing you talk about it. I mean, some of the most successful people, they have a background in marketing. It's communication, it's sales, because you can have the coolest product or idea in the world, but if you can't actually communicate it to others in a way that gets them to take action, it's really tough.
Right.
And a lot of people struggle with selling their own things.
It's true. And it has to be priced correctly. In fact, my monster client that we were talking about earlier that I had to fire, she had a product. I'm not going to say what it is or where it's from. But I wound up getting her a deal with HSN. Now, I had never done that before, but she was just all about this product. So I'm like, all right, like so next thing you know, here's Piper dealing with the VP of HSN. And that took about 6 months to get that to happen. And then we were getting into the programming part because HSN has this entire structure. Like, they know literally to the minute what time of year, what day of the month, what time of day your product will do best. And that's when they'll put you on there. Yeah. But all of a sudden my client's like, well, I don't think I want to do this now because I'm not going to make that much money. So what are you talking about? And she's like, well, when I figure out, because her product was made in China, how much it's going to cost me to have the product made and have it shipped and then blah, 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 blah. And I said to her, where did you get your price point from your, for your product? You know what she said to me?
What?
I made it up. I said, what?
So many people are like, I like the number
9 months. 9 months. And now she tells me she made up the price of her product and didn't think she was going to make any money getting an HSN deal. And so I'm like, what? So we had to go back to the basics. Like, how much did this cost? How much is your, this, that, the third, and how much profit are you actually going to make? And it was a decent amount of profit, but she had in her head what she wanted to make versus what the truth was. And so that's when things kind of went, I'm like, you know what? Right? Like, $50,000 is better than no $1,000.
Right. And you teeter up for success. But again, that's that part. You ever notice, I actually coach with people on this. Some people literally push away success.
Yeah. It was incredible because that's what she wanted when we first met. She's, she wanted more sales. And I have to be very adamant. And I say this like a broken record because people just don't hear it.
Yeah.
Or they don't retain it, which is PR does not equal sales.
There you go.
Public relations, I am not here to be your salesperson. The goal is that you will sell more products. But if you are relying on a publicist to sell your product, you are doing it all wrong. You have to have a separate sales team that is going to sell your product. PR is just like the icing on the cake and the nice little fondant decorations.
Yeah. But it's a lot of the package, right? You talk about it like that pretty little package too, and showcasing who you are so that people can actually have it. It builds that trust factor. It builds that authenticity and connection, right? But then, you have to have someone else to help with the sales. I agree. Just to back you up on that monster.
And the same goes with tickets. I was working with a company, a performance company, and all of a sudden this lady was like, okay, well, we need you to sell this many tickets through your public relations effort. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. I just had you on every major news station and this, that, and the third. Like, you have to, if ticket sales is what your concern was, you have to have somebody designated to sell tickets. And I'm happy to give you some sales strategies, but that's not my job.
Right. Well, this is good because it's clarifying those things for people. And I actually love hearing those stories because it helps almost push away more, like the ones that you don't want. That's not what you're about. And the ones you attract, right? The right people will find you, like you said, and you connect and it's fun. What's the best way for people to contact you if they want to work with you, Piper? Because you're awesome.
Just email me. Yeah, just email me, Piper@harlowpublicity.com.
Okay, Piper at harlowpublicity.com. So they could just email you that. We're going to make sure in the link as well, when this is put up on the podcast, that there's any links you want to include, or if there's any special things down there, just so that it's easy for people to get in touch with you.
And my website is being totally redone, and I'm not going to have time to finish it till January. So just letting you guys know if you watch this before January. And that's part of branding too, right? You change as a person, your business changes, your services change, and all of a sudden your website's just not working for you. And that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's
so
right.
I'm rebranding everything.
I love it. Evolution as an entrepreneur. We're doing the same thing right now. It was like Women in Power. We got fresh, logo. Yeah. Super excited about with the merch and stuff for that. And then Stories to Success. It's like having a makeover where like the platform just
it's just it's a natural part of growth. And I know that some people feel guilt, or they feel like, they're being a traitor to who they are. I'm like, no, this is growth. That's Pepsi, right. Coca-Cola, everybody's changed their slogans and even what the actual image of the product looks like to change with the time. So you're on the right track.
Good job. I love it. And Piper, what's a quote that you would like to share to inspire our listeners? Is there a quote you kind of live by, or one that encourages you?
Yes, actually it's on my desk right now.
I love it.
It's down, so I can't see it, but it is, there's nothing sadder in life than wasted talent, which is Chaz Palminteri said that, and I have his signature on that. And the other one that I love is from Eleanor Roosevelt that says that oh my gosh, you have me on the spot now. I can't think of it. It's about dreams, though. It's about how all right, forget that one. Nothing great is ever achieved without much enduring. That is from my sorority. That one I know, St. Catherine of Siena, which is also true. But, it's the one with Eleanor Roosevelt. It's just about dreams. And the world is made through the dreamers and through the beliefs in your dreams.
I love that.
Sorry, guys. I don't have it in front of me.
It's okay. We can probably Google that and find it for you. That's a culture. I know the quote you're talking about too. And I love how they're all aligned with what you do as well, because it is, you help those dreamers to make those dreams reality. And I love the creative aspects of what you do. And you're just so much fun. You're so much fun to work with. It's so much fun to see, and you help people shine. It's like, oh man, I love the connections and the bright spot you are in the world. So thank you so much, Piper, for what you do for people to help them show up as their authentic self and help them shine. And I'm excited about all the work you're doing, and I'm going to connect you with some people in your area that I think would be really cool. Whether, like I said, it's collaboration or to work with, or just to help. I love helping people who are motivated to expand in what they're doing. So just loving spotlighting you today, Piper.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. And last one, there's a book I've been working on for years, and I think as part of this Authority series, I'll actually publish it this year. But I always ask everyone, if you were going to write a hashtag to your younger self, if you created a hashtag that would have kind of helped you in your journey along the way, what would it be?
I want to say do it, because it used that always, but Nike had that one. Don't get off the boat. That was something one of my acting teachers had told me a long time ago, that he always believed was the key to success. And he's been casting for Warner Brothers for like 50 years. He's a little older now, but we still keep in touch, and I still take private classes from him sometimes. But he said the people who succeed, whether it's acting or any other type of business, they never got off the boat, right? So sometimes you may have a foot that falls off, or something happens, but you got to steer the course. You have to stay on that boat and just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh, that was so good. That was fire, girl. That's sparkle to leave it on, because it is like, how can we ever expect to get the results we want if we give up anywhere along the way? I would say you might rest, you might pause, but don't you quit. Like, keep going, right? Step by step. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Piper Harlow, for being here today. And one more time, if people want to get in touch with you, they can email you at
Piper@harlowpublicity.com.
Perfect. Okay. It was such an absolute pleasure to have you on the Legacy and Legends podcast as a featured woman in power for this event. It was just amazing to hear. And I hope you guys reach out to Piper. She is an absolute, just the work she does, she has a knack for it. She is a specialist in image consulting. And I just love how you help people shine and really be able to connect them so that they can have that bigger global impact that they want. So thank you,
Yeah,
Piper, for all you do.
absolutely. Hit me up. It'd be a pleasure.
Okay. All right.